This man stopped World War III by doing nothing, and no one thanked him.
One person can change the world, but what if that one person was sitting alone in a dimly lit bunker watching blinking lights as the fate of the planet balanced on a razor's edge? Picture a single moment where the wrong decision could mean the end of everything. No more cities, no more countries, no more future. That's exactly what happened with Stanislav Petrov, and the choice he made may have saved every single one of us. That's exactly what happened with Stanislav Petrov, and his choice may have saved every single one of us. Imagine the fate of the planet resting on a split-second decision. That's the kind of pressure Petrov faced, and against all odds, he got it right. He didn't pull a trigger, launch a missile, or give a command to destroy. Instead, he paused. He questioned. And that moment of hesitation may have saved humanity from the unthinkable. It was just after midnight on September 26, 1983. The Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union was at one of its tensest, most dangerous peaks. Both superpowers had nuclear arsenals big enough to destroy the planet many times over. Any mistake, misunderstanding, or technical failure could have set off global devastation in minutes. About on that night, deep in a Soviet bunker near Moscow, an alarm suddenly went off. A Soviet early warning satellite system had just detected something terrifying. It looked like 5 American nuclear missiles had been launched and were on their way to the USSR. Red lights flashed. Sirens blared. Soldiers around Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov jumped into action, preparing to follow the emergency protocol. That protocol was clear and strict. Report the missile launch to the High Command and prepare for a full-scale retaliation. In other words, nuclear war. Petrov sat at his desk staring at the screen that showed the supposed launch. His training told him to act fast and trust the system, but something felt off. Why only 5 missiles? If the US really wanted to attack the Soviet Union, wouldn't they fire hundreds, maybe even thousands? A real strike would try to wipe out as much of the Soviet arsenal as possible all at once. 5 missiles didn't make any sense. He thought through everything. Could it be a glitch? Could the satellites be wrong? Petrov didn't have much time to decide, and he didn't have any hard evidence either. All he had was a gut feeling, a sense that something wasn't right. He picked up the phone and made a decision that could have gotten him in serious trouble. He told his commanders it was a false alarm, no attack, don't retaliate. And he was right.
Later, they found out that the warning system had misinterpreted sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds as the heat signatures of missile launches. A tiny error in a complex system almost led to global disaster. If Petrov had followed orders, the Soviet Union might have launched their nuclear missiles in response. The US would have fired back. Within hours or even minutes, hundreds of millions of people could have died. Entire cities would have been wiped out. Civilization could have collapsed. Instead, Petrov chose not to panic. He went against the system and trusted his own judgment. One man, in one moment, prevented a nuclear war. But the story doesn't end with a medal ceremony or global recognition. In fact, the Soviet government kept what happened a secret for many years. They didn't want the world to know how close they came to catastrophe or how flawed their warning system really was. Petrov wasn't praised. He was criticized for not following protocol exactly. He was even scolded for minor mistakes in his paperwork that night. The man who may have saved the world got in trouble over a logbook. After the Soviet Union collapsed in the 1990s, Petrov's story finally started to become public. People around the world began to recognize how important his decision was. Still, he never became a household name. No giant monuments, no movies, no international holidays, just one calm, thoughtful person who stood between humanity and destruction. So the next time someone says one person can't make a difference, tell them about Stanislav Petrov. He wasn't a general or a politician. He wasn't a superhero. He didn't have a cape or any special powers. What he had was common sense, courage, the ability to stay calm in a high-stress situation. And that turned out to be more powerful than any weapon. What's even more frightening is that this kind of situation could happen again. We still rely on complicated systems, and sometimes those systems make mistakes. All it takes is one false alarm, one wrong reading, and one bad decision. That's why stories like Petrov's matter. We need to remember them, share them, learn from them. because next time we might not be so lucky. The world still faces risks from automated systems, political tension, and human error. And when everything is on the line, we need more people who can stop and think before pressing the button. We need more people like Stanislav Petrov. If this story made you think, even for a second, drop a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more true stories that could have changed everything. And hey, maybe brew a coffee while you're at it. It's stories like these that wake us up better than any espresso.